This is Making Dough Show. My name is Hingham.
And I'm Matt. We are obsessed with helping you own a profitable restaurant that doesn't own you. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss a show.
Today we're talking about upselling. In the last show, we talked about the impact of upselling. We did the math together with you and how we're talking about $1 per ticket can have an impact of plus 52K or minus 52K. So it was a swing of 104 that we talked about.
The spread was pretty bad.
That's what it was. So we all know that upselling is really important and it has great impact on the bottom line. No question about that. So today we want to talk to you about 5 possible reasons why your servers do not upsell consistently. So yes, they do maybe upsell here and there, but it's not happening in a consistent way. So you're not getting consistent results and leaving a lot of money on the table. So the reason
for them and for the restaurant.
Exactly. And the reason we're going to go over these is because you as the restaurant owner or manager need to identify why is it, maybe it's one reason or a combination of 3 different reasons that we need to go to the source and tackle those problems so we can fix this issue and make some dough. All right, so what's the first reason, Matthew, that you think that upselling doesn't happen consistently?
I think the first thing is that it's just not a priority. If it's not a priority for the owner, if it's not a priority for the manager, then hang on, you're not thinking about it. You've got to think about cleaning. You got to think about the stupid AC that's not working. You got to think about the vendor coming in the back door. You got to think about
staff not showing
somebody
up.
Didn't show up. The customer left a 3-star review, and
they
they're
send the
complaining about the
wrong
rude
chicken.
thing,
and
then you got the wrong food, whatever.
All kinds of stuff.
If you don't make upselling a priority and managing the servers who are responsible for doing it, if you don't model it and go out and do it yourself sometimes, then you're stuck. It's not a priority. It conveys to the team regardless that it's not a priority. So. The team's distracted. You as the manager, you've got so much on your plate, but you still have to figure out time to make this a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes so much easier because it becomes part of your routine. It's just like, if you're getting up at 9:30 every day and you want to get up at 5:30, it's best not to set your alarm at 5:30. Move it back to 7:30, then move it back to 6:30, then move it back to 5:30. So, baby steps. But it's a priority when you're doing that because you're focused on it. You're like, okay, I'm doing this for a month, and then I'm going to do this for a month, I'm going to do this for the month. So money-generating activities are kind of important. And this simple one of following a script that's going to upsell, the customer may say no, the customer may say yes. It doesn't matter. It's about following the system consistently to get consistent results. So, and if you're going to make money doing it, it's just wrong not to, really.
Definitely. So what would you say to somebody who has a lot on their plate right now, and yes, they know that it is a company's top priority, but at this time, it may be as a manager, they can't. So what's the one suggestion we can give them to make this happen?
So if you're overwhelmed, you probably have someone on your team who's pretty good at this, who may get better results. You know who they are.
It comes natural. We always have this one person.
You always have someone who's like, if you use the DISC personality thing, they're the high I, they're the interactive and inspirational type. You might see that person. They might go out there and say something like, oh, your dessert stomach is not yet full because it's a separate stomach. And use some random line that you never thought of.
How do we know about that
because
weird
we had
line?
A weird random staff member who did really well upselling
Why
desserts.
Is she upselling so much? We're like, dude, wouldn't you repeat what it is that you're telling the customers?
And then we told the other manager to write it down, and then we trained the other staff to use it.
So we talk about dessert stomachs to our customers, and it's getting us results, people.
Yeah, exactly. So, you want to take that into account and see if you can put them in charge of this script, holding people accountable. Hey, did you hear that person? Then you just have one person to manage while they're taking care of the rest of your team. So if you can get them on board, you can get it done and still get all that AC and other stuff done too.
Yeah, so even if you're a front of the house manager or whatever it is, you can get one of your servers who is very good at this, in charge of this, and follow up with them to make this happen. The second reason upselling is not happening consistently in your restaurant. It may be that it's not a habit. And Matthew did mention it previously, and I want to go a little bit in more depth, because in order for something to become a habit, statistics say what, like 21 days, or we were reading it yesterday in this one book.
It's anywhere
was like,
from 21 to 218.
Yeah,
Even longer.
Yeah.
It's a range. It depends on what kind of habit, where it is, how much it's, you have accountability as a factor in creating that habit, I think, because you're accountable to the dentist if you don't brush your teeth, hang them. And so, things like that really makes a difference in creating and enforcing that habit.
Definitely. And so in order for upselling to become a habit, it takes ugly amount of reminders over and over and over. You following up with your people. I feel like a lot of times, you and I in a season with our last manager, we would emphasize this and this and that and follow up like maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and it would not happen. You and I get disappointed, and somehow it would just get, we forget about it and get tired of it, because you kind of give up.
It's giving up.
You give up and you just get busy with other stuff, and weeks later we're like, oh, what's the status of that? You remember we were trying to upsell that thing, and because you don't get reporting, all of that. But it goes back.
Different episode.
I know that, but then it goes back into realizing that in order for something to become a habit, it takes a really long time, people. Every time you come up with a new checklist, a new menu item. Anyways, that's why we try to keep things simple around here. But it requires loads of follow-up, accountability, tracking, encouragement, recognition. You gotta, weeks after weeks. But again, this is worth it. It is exhausting, but it is money-generating activity, people. No profits, no business. So that is, again, one of the things is that, yeah, we have everything we need. It's just not a habit. So it may be one of the reasons, again, that your people are not upselling consistently, is that it's not a habit. So you know what you need to do. You need to turn that into a habit by reminding them over and over, follow up, and hold everybody accountable and make some dough. This episode is sponsored by Making Dough Agency. We can help you grow your sales through text message marketing for less than $10 a day. Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Burger King, Cold Stone Macaroni Grill, Subway, and Taco Bell, they all use text message marketing in 2019. So if you've ever thought about maybe trying text message marketing, but you never got around to trying it, we can help. If you have any questions or would like to try it for free, go to our website, makingdoughshow.com, scroll all the way down and fill out the form, and we will get in touch with you within 24 hours to help you make some dough.
Reason number 3 why servers don't upsell like they should consistently is because they have the wrong mindset. They may think that, the manager's just saying to do it, or it's just something I say, I sound like a robot, or it's something that they don't get it. They've never been taught. Who knows? They may have the wrong mindset about it, though, because they may think, I'm just trying to charge the customer more. Mm-hmm. That sounds really bad. But
because the owner wants to make more money. That's what they're thinking.
Right. So
let's be real. That's what they're thinking. But
most of them, if they don't understand, they don't understand. And so it's our job as the owner or manager. You have to teach them. And so
do the math, which is the first one we did. But
you do that math. What that math does is that creates that win for the servers. It shows them how that's a win. How is it a win for the customers? This is a 3x win. It's a win for the customers because let's say the server finds out from the customer that their favorite dessert is tiramisu. And then they're talking to the tiramisu, why is it, they're asking the customer, why is it your favorite? It's because my brother was in Italy and the tiramisu was there and everything like that, or something like that. And so then why would you rob that customer of an even better experience at your restaurant by not offering them a tiramisu? They may not have seen it on the menu.
Tiramisu's delicious, people.
They may need someone to tell them about it. They may have had a bad tiramisu at another restaurant, for instance, or had a bad one at the restaurant at Walmart, and they're thinking about the taste of that one versus that one in Italy, and they just can't imagine how yours can be any better. So if your server takes the time to explain it to them, the customer wins. And we already talked about in the math episode how the staff wins when the average ticket goes up, tip percentage by default goes up. So
don't assume they know the math proportionally. Don't use mathematical thing. You need to have them do the math. But we talked about
KISS
that in the
principle.
last
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
So upselling is also the win for the business, obviously, because sales goes up. It's an add-on sale, so that's not too challenging. Usually desserts and other things might be like a brownie that's prepackaged, or it might be, something with a relatively low food cost like our Zeppeli Italian donuts. So, that upsell, as long as the kitchen can deliver, your kitchen has to be able to deliver if you're going to upsell. Otherwise, you can really make a customer mad.
That's for another show.
Oh, I forgot. Well, it's a win for the business as long as the kitchen delivers.
Of course. So when sales goes up, proportionally labor goes down, which I think that a lot of times our servers may not understand the impact of labor going down as the sale goes up, is that when that means for us, at least as restaurant owners, that means, it's time to give some raises to our kitchen crew. Because obviously the servers make their own tips, and they are in control of how much money they make. Our kitchen crew, on the other hand, right? So the servers need to understand, if you would like your team in the kitchen to get some raises, you need to help us out here. And another thing I always tell our people is that we need to upgrade equipment, and we're talking about AC right now. It's thousands, and everybody's suffering because it's hot. So I think, what is it right now?
This is Texas.
It's like 75 or...
Manager said it was 98.
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen last week. So
oh my God.
I got it. We're down at 88, so we've gotten a lot. I mean, it's a big improvement right there. Yeah. But no.
So it is really important to talk numbers with your children as well as your staff, so they understand. For us to upgrade equipment, we want to buy another oven, all of that, or build up saving for another location. We've talked about that as well a lot of times with our leadership team, for them to know, in order for us to open another one, in order to get a loan, we're going to need like $50,000 to $70,000 savings, for them to understand the impact of how everybody kind of contributes to this. But this mindset of win, 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 I feel it may be lacking, and that is one of the reasons that they're not upselling consistently. Another reason your servers might not be upselling is their fear of rejection. And they will never tell you that. They will never tell you that is one of the reasons they don't upsell, because no one is going to ever come and tell you that. And what happens is, in their mind, they're thinking, oh no, what if I ask the customer? In fact, you tell them, encourage them to upsell, you teach them the script, this is how you do it, and whatever. They go, and the first customer they tell, hey, would you like this and this and whatever have you, it is.
No,
and the customer says,
I'm
no,
fine.
I'm fine. And they're like, oh no, they rejected me as a person, I'm a horrible, I'm never, all of that is subconsciously in their head, because somebody told them no, and they just get a flashback, their anxiety comes in, and,
flashback to when they're two and they're sticking their fingers on the stove.
Oh, yeah. So, as restaurant owners and managers, we get served rejections on a platter, large platters, on a daily basis, loads of punches on the nose. I mean, let's be real. But our servers may be new to the game of life or business, restaurant business particularly, and so no one enjoys rejection, but that may be one of the reasons. They don't have a thick skin yet. So I want to go over how to tackle this, because no one really likes to get rejected. That's a fact. But so first thing is, when you observe that it may be this, and you may ask them directly, hey, is it that, when people tell you no, you feel this, or, how do you feel when a customer says no to your upselling thing or whatever? Have them talk, and for you to identify that. So it's important to acknowledge them. I understand it's really hard. When I also get this and this and this is how I feel. You need to tap into your emotions and go to the dark side.
Some of you may be better at that than others.
Matt and are phenomenal at this.
Hangham's not sarcastic at all, but no. Getting to that acknowledgement may be difficult. Some people don't even know themselves why they're afraid to go do it.
True.
And so depending on how old they are, if they're experienced or mature or not mature at all, I mean, just trying to figure out, you have to ask a lot of questions. You got to go through some coaching questions with them just to even help them realize the problem. So
get them aware.
And then you got to get them to explain generally speaking, what the big why is, why they are scared of that rejection. And usually it's because they have no mastery of the script, of the system, or perhaps no confidence in the kitchen, founded or unfounded, that why they won't go upsell it. Because, if the kitchen doesn't deliver, they're going to look really bad.
Usually that's not the case.
So
I don't know what you're talking about the kitchen right now.
Assuming that's not the case. It can happen.
I understand. I mean, especially on a Friday night. That's why we kind of don't upsell too much on a Friday night. But lack of mastery is because I feel like just a script alone, and I'm going to go over next another issue with this, but mastery alone in terms of, this is the script, if they don't role play and for it to come natural out of them, that's why some people it comes naturally, others, they need to practice, which is, you and I had to practice everything. Talking to customers, we were, our background is engineering.
I don't want to talk about it.
This may be a podcast,
but I don't want to talk about it.
That's for sure. So, lack of mastery, for them to realize, listen, the more you practice, we're going to do some more role plays. I'm going to put you to work with Susan or whatever thing it is. So, y'all do many role plays. After an hour, I'm going to check with you. Help them master this. And the other thing is Q-tip, Matthew. Can you talk about Q-tip?
Q-tip. This is a dadism from my father. I don't know where he learned it, so if you know the actual source, great, but otherwise I'm putting his picture up there until I know better. Q-tip, quit taking it personally. He says that to a lot of, he says that to my emotional sisters actually quite a bit, I think, a lot of that. But Q-tip, it's not personal if they say no. It's not, they're not rejecting you as a person. You have to explain to the server, look, they're just saying no because they don't want it. Maybe it's not in the budget. Maybe they, it's not their favorite food. Maybe they're allergic to dairy. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, would you like a 2-liter Coke or Diet Coke? They're saying, no, well, they don't want freaking soda. I mean, what are you going to,
Yeah,
that's
offer
fine.
them a gallon of tea, see if that works.
There you go. So
they probably want a pint of beer, or not a pint, like a, dang it, growler. There's the word.
Yeah. And this is also a great reminder for you as a restaurant owner and or a restaurant manager to not take things personally. A 1-star review or what have you. And again, you can go back to that emotional side of you sharing with your people how you've gotten over this aspect of rejection by not taking things personally. Yeah, it took us years to get here, really. I'm still working on it. But so mastering it, role play daily. And in terms of being professional sales, if you talk to any salesperson, they do role plays, they have scripts. We went through a long season. Our people refuse to use scripts. I'm like, it's working great for Chick-fil-A people. My pleasure. So just do it. But that's another thing. So next, we want to talk about the what versus the how. And this is a good one because I've noticed a lot of times, and how I came up with this is because I would see our managers telling people, go upsell this, go upsell that. This today, we're upselling this. But you telling them what to do all the time, and they come back and don't do it. And they never come back and tell us, well, the reason I did not upsell this is because I don't actually know what's in the cannoli. When the customer asks me, what's a cannoli? I'm like, cannolo, you know what I mean?
There's cream in it, right?
Yeah.
It's not a ricotta cheese or anything.
Nope. So it is important to not just tell them what to do, but how to do it. You got to show them. You got to demonstrate it. They have to see you do it, but that's for another show. And you need to verify indeed that they know how to do it because you tell them, hey, do you know what's in our thing? Yes. Or do you know how to do this? Yes. Oh, that's why I always say on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident? Because I'd be like, so how good are you on the POS after somebody working for us for 3 weeks? Oh, I'm pretty good. I've been working with so-and-so. I've been practicing. And I'm like, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you on the POS handling it by yourself? Well, about a 6. Or they may
6.
And in the menu they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a 9. Oh yeah, what's in our antipasto salad?
Crickets.
Olives.
There's lettuce. I know there's lettuce.
So
stinking salads.
You need to verify by that. Say, hey, imagine I'm the customer. Upsell me our dessert today. Go ahead. Having those role plays.
Zeppeli donuts. They're just
donuts.
Angel babies, and you're just eating angel babies because they're soft pockets of fried pizza dough with powdered sugar.
Yeah, this is. How do we get that, Matthew?
How can you say no?
How do we get that, Matthew? That description?
One of the Chick-fil-A employees was suggesting that.
Yeah, so that's stuck in the team. Yeah, that's for sure. So to tackle this that you may be thinking about, again, we're going over these reasons for you to observe and realize why is it that your people are not upselling consistently. So one of the reasons may be that they know they need to upsell, they just don't know how to do it because you've not turned that into a habit of it consistently and all the time doing these role plays and following up and holding them accountable and showing them the how and verifying that they know how. And so that was our 5 reasons.
You ready for the dough making plan? Your homework for this week, for today, right now, is to go over and think about in your mind, first of all, the 5 reasons. Is it because upselling is not a priority? Is it because it's not a habit yet? Does it not happen because your team members don't understand that it has to be win, win, win in order for it to win? Do they understand how to get over the fear of rejection? And do they understand practically how to do it? So you've got those 5 reasons why servers don't consistently upsell. Go talk about it with your team. Meet with your front staff. Meet with your servers. Talk about how are we going to fix this problem. Talk about, you heard this podcast, you got these list of items. What do they think is the biggest problem?
You may be surprised.
Do they not know how? Do they know how, but they forget to?
Yeah.
Who knows? It may be the habit. They may know how. They may think they know how, but they don't know how. You can test them. So once you go through and do that, then make sure you talk to them consistently about making the how a habit so that they do it a lot.
Well, thank you for listening to another episode as we talked about upselling and making dough around here. Excited about the next show where we're going to talk about one upselling item on your menu. If you do offer that particular item, we're going to go into depth about that, and that would require minimal training, it would require minimal scripts, and 8 out of 10 customers say yes to. So be sure to subscribe to the show so you hear about that next, coming up very soon on the show here on the podcast. And if you got any questions, and if there's any way we can help you in any way with your marketing, you've got questions you want us to cover on the show, you can do that by going to our website, www.makingdoughshow.com. Scroll all the way bottom, submit the form, and we will get back to you and try to cover that in the future episodes and help you out. Now with that, let's get back to work and make some dough. Bye.